Yo, what is going on, boys? And today I am doing a Nazuna piece. I know it's been a few weeks since I last uploaded, so a lot of my processes have changed since then, but let's just kind of hop right into it. I'm kind of just making the face right now, kind of feeling things out. Honestly, when I started this, I didn't even know what I was gonna make. I was just kind of messing around, and I was like, oh, I seen like a piece on Twitter. I saw something. I was like, wait, I haven't done this character before. So I grabbed a bunch of references and I just started kind of going. Right now, I'm using like a palette that I've always used. I got a lot of low spec, but it doesn't really work for her design. So I went back and later on, and I'll change the colors. I'll also link low spec in the description below. You should definitely check it out. It's an amazing place to go. Especially if you can't really change the saturation and be able to go from light to dark with shading different colors and stuff. Like, if that's really hard for you, that's a great place to go. I can somewhat do it. I've done it for a long time, but people just do it better than me. So there's no reason not to kind of go on there. But yeah, so I just kind of made the general head. Right now, as you can see, I made about four heads length. Right now for her, because I'm not gonna do a full body. I'm doing kind of just gonna do the torso and a little bit of the butt in this, with maybe a little bit of legs in there. But I was just kind of checking out, because her height for me is probably around 6.25, 6.33 heads, and each red line that you can see there, it counts as one head. So we're doing about three and a 3.25 right here, to add a little bit of lag in there. Right now, one of the difficult things, I talked about this before, is doing arms. Arms is really annoying. So, and I don't really know what kind of pose I want her to do right now. So I'm just kind of messing around, seeing what I like. And I did this by accident here, kind of like opening up, and I was like, oh, that could be cool. Do something with that. But yeah, so I kind of got a nice outline of the shape that I like for her. She's a little bit thicker than what her character generally is, but honestly, I just said the hell with it and just kind of kept it. I was like, I kind of like that. Also, right now, I'm kind of making the boobs right now. That is something that took me a long time to kind of figure out how to do. I'm still not really great at it, but I found one of the great things to do is kind of add a little bit of shading halfway in between the boobs, as you can see there. It helps just kind of add a more of a 3D effect instead of just having one dark line. See, it kind of just looks like it's somewhat right. And here you can see I changed the palette around a little bit. I got a bunch of purple that I found on low spec that I was like, oh, this is like perfect. So now I'm kind of changing up the eyes. The left eye right now for me isn't great. I asked a few of my friends what they thought, and I fixed it at the end. So don't worry if that bothers you. It'll be fixed, I promise. But here I'm just kind of messing around with the hair a bit, to just kind of just jamming around, seeing what I like, seeing what I don't like. I have a general way of I like doing hair, but I like looking at other people how they do it. But generally, I like to just kind of add a light source, add a bit of shading at the bottom to just kind of show parting, and then whatever else I need to do, I'll just add like a small bit of shading here and there. But I find doing a little goes a long way, especially in pixel art. You can do just a few pixels of shading here and there, can kind of just ruin something. So I try to go and not make it too crazy. But here I'm making kind of like the ball shape. I couldn't really figure it out, her like back piece of hair, so I kind of gave up on trying to make it circles, and I just kind of made like a general shape. I was like, oh, this is like good enough. But I kind of raged right here, and I was like, I'll do it later. I just couldn't really handle it. But here I'm just kind of shading the hair around, kind of showing that it's parting at the back, and we have a little bit of a background hair too to follow the right side. And now we're adding the clothing. Honestly, I like I said before, I've used multiple references when I do this, but I just kind of want to have fun here and kind of do my own thing. So I didn't really look at anything or any clothing. I just kind of said to hell with it. I'm gonna make kind of like a dress kind of thing, like a really skin tight one, because why not? I was just kind of having fun here. I'm not really trying to do anything too crazy. But here, like, like before, a lot of people may ask why you do a lot of shading on the body if you're not going to use it. You actually, what I do is I use the body in one layer and then I transfer that shading over to the clothing on another layer, so it makes everything super easy to do. Especially if you get that main anatomy down, it's so simple to just kind of bring that forward. So now I have a great kind of outline of the clothing and how I want to do things. So I'm gonna go over and kind of fix the hair a little bit more before I kind of tackle, because I don't really like tackling like one big thing at a time, because sometimes it's just like a lot. So I'll just kind of go around here and there before I kind of up the challenge here, and I'm going back to the hair and just kind of fixing everything before I move on. I'm gonna do a few more pass throughs of the hair, but I just kind of wanted to have just something here before I take my first big break, which is around now. Like, this is about where I would say is a good time for me to kind of just step back, because when you stare at pixels for more than like an hour, everything kind of just blends in together. Especially if you're just doing it for a long time, it's just like just things just kind of stop working well. So I find taking breaks is like a really good thing to do. But here now I'm like, okay, I'm finally tackling the clothing. I'm kind of connecting the breast in the middle, just to kind of show that we're in like a one kind of piece clothing kind of thing, instead of like a bra or something like that. So we're just kind of bringing everything together here, adding a little bit more shading on the clothing and adding a hand here, just a general hand, just kind of see where I like things. I'm not very good with like human hands and stuff like that. So for this one, I'm just going to kind of just get a general shape, do a little bit of shading here and there, and then just call it a day for that. I'm not really too concerned. Now, one of the big problems that I'm going to run into after I'm finished shading a little bit more, just kind of adding a bit more detail. So you can see here, I'm using kind of the lower end of the shade of this palette that I picked. But the problem with this palette is that the last shade, the darkest shade, and the shade next to it are really, really distant. So it makes everything really pop, and it's really hard to blend things in together. So you'll see for a while, I'm just going to be struggling just kind of to shade things, because I think it's just popping too much, and I don't really like that. I kind of want to blend it in a little bit more. So eventually you'll see me just kind of up the lighting on this a little bit, and I'm going to use the last shade, since it's so dark compared to the rest of it, it's going to be used as a outline instead, which I find I haven't been using outlines a lot recently, but I find it helps really pop out pieces, and I've been really enjoy doing it. So I might add a little bit more in. So again, I'm just doing some more shading with the darker shade here. It's just not really working out too well, but we'll transfer that later. And I like to add just kind of some busyness here and there, just kind of showing that, oh, the bottom layer is, the legs are kind of going into itself. Now that I lighten up the clothing, you can see, oh, okay, now everything's kind of blended in a little bit nicer, instead of like super poppy. Nothing wrong with having the poppiness, but it's just not, I didn't really like it. I think it looked a little out of place. But here now I'm just adding the outline to everything, and I think at the end, when I have the whole outline, I think it looks a whole lot better. Now here I'm able to kind of add the separation of legs here, and then add a little bit of shading just to show like, oh, okay, that front leg is kind of a little bit more forward than the back, just gonna show both legs. If you remember a little bit ago when I was doing the anatomy of the legs, I know it's going pretty quick, but the left leg, I didn't really bother doing as well as the right one, where the butt is kind of coming out of. That's just because I didn't really need to. The right butt kind of takes care of everything, and then as long as the left one is somewhat correct, since it's more of like a dress and it's kind of hanging down, I could just kind of run with the flow here and just kind of do whatever. You don't have to be super perfect with these things, at least for now. Like, I'm not like amazing in that anatomy, so I just kind of take things step by step. This is definitely one of my best pieces though, for just kind of getting the whole picture together. It's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with the result. And here now, this is something I really like doing, is just kind of adding that dark line and then adding a lighter shade underneath to kind of just show ripples. I find that really helps kind of break up the monotony of a piece. And here I'm kind of breaking up the lighting a little bit more, At the end, you'll see that the lighting is going to be chopped up just a little bit. I like to have just a little bit of roughness here and there in my pieces. I find that always looks a little bit nicer. I'm still going, just breaking up all the shading and stuff like that. Now I'm gonna kind of work on getting the shadow. This is super easy. You just kind of duplicate all of your layers that you use, and then you flatten it, bring it to the back of all the layers, and then change the color, change the opacity down, and then it's just bring it to the right a little bit because the lighting's coming from the left. Add it a little bit hard. It's gonna do the same exact thing. Flatten it, bring it to the right. And then here's my piece. It took me a few hours, but I really enjoyed the process. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please check out my Twitter. I post everything there every day, and I'd love to see you kind of come in and talk. But thank you anyways, and have a great day.